Man, my videos. It's like, dude, get off my lawn. Not crazy shit. Not really. I mean, come on. This is just insane. Man, I'm just gonna go with the PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and forget both damn parties because this mess is too much and none of them are going to do anything about it. So, you know what? Pfft, whatever. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I mean, the crazy is too much sometimes, man. And I get, yeah, I'll say stupid and impulsive bullshit. You know, you got disabilities, man. You know, part of the reason why I'm on disability is because I say stupid shit when I'm frustrated. It's like, but I'm not gonna, like, you know, storm a capitol. Why would crazy shit? I mean, what I'm talking about is like, you know, protecting ourselves from the crazy shit, not doing crazy shit. I mean, god damn. I don't know what these people are gonna do, man. These people scare the crap out of me. They do. They scare the living shit out of me. You know, these hard right Christians, man. You know, I can see what they're about, and it scares me that a lot of people just don't, or that a lot of people think the Democrats are going to save them. It's like it don't work like that, man. I'm trying to get people to wake up and save themselves. That there are ways to do it, different ways to do it. I'm not necessarily pushing any way, but they're just ways, you know? It's like, figure it out, you know? It ain't like I'm like gonna do crap, man. You know? I don't like walk around with a fucking rocket launcher on my back. Oh, those people, those people shouldn't be walking around with rocket launchers on their back, going to 7-Eleven, buying a Coke. I mean, what that's just like, you know, that shit is just like, dude, your shit needs to check. You know, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know if the world's always been like this, but it's just like, wow, you know? And um I don't know, the Democrats are just as horrible in a lot of ways as the Republicans. And it's just like, let's trade one horrible thing for another horrible thing every 2 to 4 years. And it feels like that's not helped. It's like nobody's here out, you know, like checking the crazy. I mean, it's like, I felt like we've been on our own so long. It's like, dude, okay, if there's nobody in place to check the crazy, we the people have to check the crazy. I mean, just like somebody's got to be doing it. I mean, really, somebody's got to be like going, hey, wait a minute. Hey, hey, wait a minute, Kevin Roberts. Chill the fuck out. Dude, what? I mean, you're like threatening people openly. And yet there's nobody silencing you. You know, there's no no mainstream media saying, hey, wait a minute, cutting you off. No, It's like the media, instead of like, saying and doing anything about the people that are out there using media, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Truth Social, the Republican Party, any of this, nobody's saying, hey, wait a minute, you got some fucking crazy ass violent ideas that are gonna get people fucking killed. Already getting people murdered, killed. Donald Trump has gotten so many people beaten up and killed by his mouth his entire life. His entire life has been hate and hate and hate. And that kind of hate gets people killed. That kind of hate is the exact kind of hate that led to Auschwitz and Belsen. And I try to say, hey man, this is the kind of hate that led to Auschwitz and Belsen and yada yada and all that. And it's like, oh, but your speech goes against community standards. Or I'm trying to say, hey, this Project 2025 shit is really, really, really some scary, awful fucking shit, okay? And it's like, no, we're going to take down your Facebook account and your Twitter account and shut you up because you're going against the state decisions. Now, of course it's considered, but if you say anything against the state, you're automatically, toast. I know that, and it's really scary. It's like, well, what are you supposed to do, Just let them roll over you? I mean, really? That's those, there's like millions of people that were killed by their own government. And that's happening all over the world all the time. Here, I mean, there's always been like massive genocide. I mean, it's just not talked about. American history is slaughter and genocide and just ugly shit. So, I mean, we're just an empire of ugly. Okay, like we're not like this shining beacon of democracy in the world. We're a horrible, genocidal, warmongering empire who pisses off everybody in the world. And basically, we're just finding out exactly now how awesome it feels to be on the other side of America's love in the world. Yeah. Thanks. Jello Biafra saw this shit coming. I mean, Barry Goldwater, all kinds of smart people have seen this shit coming, and it's like, when are most people gonna wake up? I want to wake people up. I want to wake people up so they can think, so they can feel, so they can actually empower themselves to make their own life choices and not have choices made for them by powerful people that control the media and the governments and everything else in the world. To just think freely, think clearly, and reason and calm and sanity. But people have to think. The people I wish would stop and think the most are the most hateful. It's like, I wish people would show them what's happened in the past with this rhetoric. And I've tried to do that. Like, hey, maybe you should show those hateful people what happened in Germany the last time somebody did that. Or show them what that kind of hateful rhetoric does to their own people, their own families. Maybe if they saw that what they're reaping is some ugly shit and the consequences cannot be predicted, it will just be ugly. We're having people trying to unleash all kinds of ugly in the world because of they feel their God is the right God and no gods before me or whatever. Fuck. I want there to be a permanent wall between church and state. That's like the only thing we have had in place to keep our country from becoming like these Middle Eastern countries where religion is blowing each other up. Blowing each other up because they feel they have the God-given right to do so. It's like, people, look at the Spanish Inquisition. Don't try to tell me that, oh, this is a modern apparition, but Christianity is so good. No, man. No. We're talking some Old Testament shit, some Old Testament God. Nothing to do with Jesus at all. This ain't Christianity. This is like fucking Quran shit. This is like fucking Old Testament Hebrew action. This is just like, fuck, destroy the infidel. Fly a plane into the Twin Towers. Do you think I would ever glorify that? Of course, when I try to point that out, they turn around and say, are you trying to glorify 9/11? Are you crazy? No. I don't know how to get it across anymore. And it's like, I'm about to just like give up and to say, well, you're all on your own, pal. Good luck. Because I'm not the crazy person. It drives me crazy. I lose my shit. I say stupid things. I lose my temper. The most violent thing I'll probably ever do is put a hole in the wall. I don't hurt people. I don't want to kill people. Ever. I hope, it's just like, who in the right mind wants to go out and kill people? I mean, you can't be in your right mind and be talking, I want to see people actually die, and then actually put shit in motion to do it. Maybe I'll talk some shit because I'm an idiot sometimes, but I'm not sitting there planning to fucking, commit horrors on the world. I want to see these kinds of things end. And I don't mean end violently, because violence is just crazy. I mean, the only way out, the only end that'll happen with all this violence is World War III, nuclear war, or human extinction. And maybe even taking the whole planet. I don't relish the idea of Earth being a burnt cinder, dead, rolling in space. I mean, maybe Elon Musk doesn't care because he thinks he's going to go to Mars. But then there's Elon Musk threatening people with violence and donating money for the guy that is doing violence. It's like, what? He's got a butthurt over his own transgender kid? That's fine. How he feels is fine. What he's doing about it is insane. There's a difference between get off my lawn and you don't have a right to exist on my planet. and Mark Zuckerberg's all these billionaires, they don't care. Both political parties don't care. The Republicans sure as hell don't. I'm actually trying to save all these people that are trying to take us out from themselves. Because, I don't like seeing people being used. It's like, if these billionaires and all these Republicans and all these Christians want to take people out, let them do it. Why should we, the people of the world, be used as pawns in their crazy shit? Why let it's like if all these people on top that want to hate each other so much and wipe each other out, why don't we just throw them in let them have a celebrity death match and we just go on in peace or whatever? Why is it always somebody's baby, somebody's child that ends up dead as a pawn in warfare? Man, I yeah, the most dangerous thing I might have suggested is I would like to see the women rise up and, overthrow men. Because, men suck at this shit. Suck at ruling the world. I'm the last guy that should ever try to rule anything. Men become chimpanzees and start throwing poo at each other and then try to oppress the hell out of everybody and dominate them and control them. Instead of seeking peace, they just turn into these monsters. I'm a man, and I would choose the fucking bear over a man. Man, it's like I've had some really, really, really strange and very creepy pickup lines and shit from gay men that are like, we'll say gay men, and nothing against gay people, but men are men, it doesn't matter. Gay white men can be just as extreme and just as dangerous as a heterosexual man. And let me tell you, the man, it ain't what orientation sexually you are at all. It's who a person is. And men are scary fucking people. Just by nature, just scary. Especially white men. They're terrifying. They terrify everybody. They've been doing it so long that, I've walked down the street and seen people of color be going, shit, is this whitey gonna hurt me? Am I gonna have to hurt him? And it's like, whoa, no, or whatever. And it's just like, no, I'm white, but I ain't whitey. Whitey is a whole different thing. Whitey is horrible. It's an accident of birth, not a birthright. I don't know. Somehow or other, we're gonna have to fix this shit before we all go up and smoke. And if we all end up, it's like we either gotta fix this shit now, like yesterday, or just it's gotta stop, man. Just gotta stop. I'm like, the only chant I ever have is wake up now, or make it stop, or it's like I'm not a Christian, but but the Christians, I don't, it's some weird religion. It's like, to me, I think it has more to do with the Old Testament decided they might want to make this Jesus guy a great spokesman to try to like sort of like the smiling face of the awful people, like, well, we're not horrible, it's Jesus, like Jesus is like some brand name. He was a guy, or some guy. I mean, there have been for all time people that have said, hey man, hey, now, that are like, hey man, why don't we just, like fucking get along? And a lot of them have been killed for it. I mean, Jesus was for his, he didn't die for our sins. He died because because the Roman Empire, he was a threat. Okay, so they're like, okay, fine, let's throw him on a cross. Fuck him, right? And same thing when other people come along, beautiful human beings that say, hey man, like murdering each other is just not on, they're gone. I remember Jimmy Carter actually brokered a peace in the Middle East. And then I can't remember which one was killed, but I think if I remember right, I think the Israelis killed the Israeli government guy because he was an infidel or something. It's just like, whoa, Malcolm X was killed by friendly fire. Michael Collins was killed by friendly fire. It's like eating our own it's like one of the worst things about human nature is just like, well, everybody fights for supremacy and eats their own. That's what the Democrat Party is. I guess it tells me right now what's going on with them, that they don't give a shit about any of us. They just want to keep their place in office, no matter what happens. It means that either they don't care what's going on, one, or two, are in on it. The fact is, it doesn't really matter which. The end result is you're on your own. Trump's entire first administration, it felt like, well, you're on your own, pal. Good luck. Yeah, that's why I got just a little bit extremely angry and started moving a little further and further to the left. Because, well, it's not like the Democrats did anything or ever have done anything useful like codify Roe, stopping playing along with the bipartisan shit, which just kind of made the whole country go more and more and more and more and more to the right. It's like, instead of like going, hey, wait a minute, moving left, they basically move to the right along with them. So it's like the political spectrum is like a seesaw. There's an image like a seesaw, man. It's like the lunatic right fringe have sat on one end, and the Democrats are kind of like pushing it to right. Nobody wants to hear that the Democrats are fucking Republicans, but they're like they are Republicans. There is no left. There is no party for 3/4 of the country. It's like, you're on your own, pal. Good luck. And it's like, no, there's no plan in place to counter Trump. There's no plan, like, just vote harder. I mean, it's like, hey, wait a minute, we are really on the verge of getting slaughtered by one side. And it's like, just vote harder. Like somehow it's just some policy difference or difference of opinion politically. It's kind of like, it's a difference in ideologies, man. We have a small minority of people with all the power and all the guns and the military and everything else on their side, hijacking this country. And it's probably always been this way. It's just out in the open now. But the simple fact is, and it's like, oh, violence is no place in politics. It's like, oh, yeah, well, ideally it shouldn't. And I'd like there to be no violence. I'd really love there to be no fucking violence. I mean, violence is like not supposed to be the first thing you do. I mean, it's just the answer to empire of any kind of dissent is to shoot you. I mean, it's like, did anyone really watch what happened in Black Lives Matter? I mean, it was like, basically it started with police oppression and continued with police oppression. We live in a police state. It's like the government is showing us who they really are constantly, and yet people just are like completely blind. I mean, these people have been showing us who they really are from birth to death. They're not even trying to hide it. They're like, yeah, maybe the Democrats are trying to hide it, but the Republicans sure aren't. Either way, the message is the same. Yeah, okay, it's like, frankly, both parties are fucking horrible. Fucking horrible. It's like, I can't, like, unsee it now that I've seen it. They are absolutely horrible. And have always been absolutely horrible. And the people that end up losing most are the people that make the country run. And it's like, well, of course, the people that actually do the work want, like, the whole damn pie. Well, they should have the whole damn pie. I mean, it's like, the people that make Tesla are in sweatshops in China. All our products everything that we buy has been made by some kind of labor exploitation, either here or somewhere else in the world. Capitalism is built on exploitation and slavery. America was built on exploitation and slavery. And we just hide it underneath these beautiful words signifying nothing. And I clutch onto those beautiful shiny words because those beautiful shiny words could be a way to bring a better future. Because, in theory, not in practice, but in theory, there's a lot of things that are very good about what the founders had in mind, like making sure that nobody had absolute power. Yeah, we've seen over and over again in the world how ugly shit gets when people have absolute power, especially with the religion in it. I mean, what? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Just wow. Okay. I mean, it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but all I know is millions are gonna end up dying if millions don't end up being like a barrier or something, or a wall or something. And when I talk about people rising up, I'm talking about them being like, we're not going to let you fucking slaughter us. I mean, what do these people think is going to happen when they say these people over and over and over again think that oppression and violent oppression is going to accomplish anything good. I mean, it's not. It's never the side of the people. It's never the oppressed who start shit. Never. Not at all. The thing that people never talk about when they were clutching their pearls about the horrible Irish is that the Irish were being oppressed for like 700 years by the British Empire. And 700 years is a long time to be patient. Really a long time to try to be like, hey, yo, can we have a seat at the table? We really would just like to be Ireland and not in your empire anymore. Seems like a reasonable thing. The British Empire is some ugly shit, and we're like the British Empire, or worse. I don't know, or at least we're horrible. But so after 700 years, a handful of people are like, fuck it. It's kind of like a people that are brought to a country in chains. Okay, so that's some horrible, ugly, unforgivable bullshit. Throwing people in the bottom of ships, chained up, and saying, "Well, you're a Christian in America now." All those flowery words, they don't apply to you. Just do your work and I won't kill you. I won't beat you senseless. I mean, black people have had some of the worst from white people, and it's just like, I mean, it's like the more I become aware of the history of white people and the Spanish conquistadors and Columbus and Cortez and the Spanish Inquisition brought to you by the Catholic Church. Ooh, the Catholic Church. Ooh. Oh. You can't even begin to unpack the level of hate that is. And I mean, fucking religion, man. Seriously, fucking religion. The world would have been so much better off if it never happened. And it's like, I want the women to take over, and I hope there's enough anger at how they've been treated by men for their entire lives to just go, okay, well, sucks to be you, pal. I mean, maybe, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but all I know is it happens. I'll be right there with them. Or at the very least standing right behind the side of their side. But, karma's a motherfucker, okay? So it's like the most humane thing, the most non-violent thing I would ever do is just kind of walk away and turn a blind eye. Kind of like these Christians do all the time. And just let her rip. Because it's kind of like, well, oppressing people really, really, really is dumb. Because it's like they're unleashing some shit. They just are. And me pointing that out has probably led to people going, hey, he's dangerous. And it's like, no. Maybe I'm trying to incite, back the fuck down. Not that that's going to happen. Ever. Not these people thinking, you better bow and obey me. It's like, the thing is that may work in their religion with their people, but it's like other people are like, no, it's not going to be that way. I mean, Respect my existence or expect resistance. I mean, come on. These people want to erase people they don't like. Erase them. And they're cheering about it. Mass deportation now. Yeah. It's like, this shit is like, this is like when Hitler and fucking Goebbels ranted about the filthy this and the filthy that, and the fact that there was no real pushback at all with family separation kind of tells me ain't nobody caring. Nope. Not as long as it's only illegals. You know. First, they came for, and people are like, I don't want to hear that. It's like, but people do need to hear that. And the worst I'm trying to do, the extent of my anger and violence is like wanting to shake some sense into people. I get so frustrated I might like start shaking my monitor. It's like, wake up, man. Care. Care while we still have enough people to make to be like, hey, we're the wall, and no, we ain't for this. That's it. No, we see what you're doing. Been there, done that. Didn't get the T-shirt, and I'm like, hey, you know what happens when absolute power goes unchecked by anybody? Let me show you. Yeah, fucking concentration camps. Yeah. Except they were obvious and tried to do it the fast way instead of being the sly way, which is, like slowly taking it all away and people never having rights. Rights happen because people make them happen, not because God or country or religion or politicians say they do. They happen because the people are like, well, you better give us some fucking rights. Now. And so far, until now, it's kind of worked. Well, until the same government takes them all away again, and then you start all over again, and it becomes like, okay, fine. The system is not going to really fix anything permanently, so, So yeah, I'm looking for forever solutions, not shit. And people are like, oh no, that's not the way it works, or everything's got to be slow and steady. And I'm like, oh, says the oppressor. Everything's got, it's like, no, it's like patience is for rich people, and privileged people can afford that, but waiting for freedom and waiting for the government is like, okay. But slow and steady progress or staying the course doesn't help a person on the street. Doesn't help anybody who fears for their life being out in the world because they don't fit the narrow description of a human being to Christian nationalists or Republicans or whatever. And it's like, no, if we live in a society where you can't walk the streets as a drag queen and not get murdered, then we don't live in a good society at all, do we? Fannie Lou Hamer famously said, if I ain't free, you ain't free neither. And boy, does she have a right. A society that only has rights for some really has rights for none. George Carlin pointed it out, and it's bullshit and it's bad for you. You don't have a choice. You have owners. Boy, was he right. More right than is comfortable at all. So Um, yeah, like, wow, okay, so, God. All right, I'm done now then, I guess.